Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Revize Newsletter webinar. I'm just going to give it a minute or two to let everyone join, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you again for taking time out of your schedules to join us today for the Revize Newsletter webinar. We're going to learn how this powerful app can help you connect with your community. Just a fair warning, everyone, I am a little sick, so just bear with me if my voice is a little hoarse or if I need to take a break to have a sip of tea or cough a little, just so you know that I might need a couple breaks in between, because I'll be doing a lot of talking, but hopefully it all goes smoothly. Just wanted to put that out there at the start of the presentation. A little bit of housekeeping before we go any further. The recording of today's session will be uploaded to the Revize website. That's revize.com, under the webinars tab on the website. So if you want to show a colleague who maybe couldn't make it to the live webinar today, or you want to refer back at any time, you'll be able to do so. Per usual, we'll be having a Q&A at the end of the session today. Feel free to drop questions in the chat throughout, but we won't be addressing them until I conclude my demonstration of the newsletter app. So just know I'm not ignoring you. We're just going to address all of the questions at the end. And be sure to follow us on social media and sign up for our newsletter. You can scan that QR code at the edge of your screen. It'll take you to our company link tree where you'll find all of our different social media platforms. You can follow on your preferred platform. You can see our previous webinars, read our blog. And fun fact, all of the webinar registration emails and update newsletters that come out from Revize are done on our Revize newsletter app. So that just shows you how great it is because we use it for our own company information. Our agenda for today, first off, I'll get through these introductory slides like usual. Then we'll transition into a demonstration of the newsletter app that I'll walk us through. And then we will have our Q&A session with Jamie Fye. He's kind of the expert on the newsletter. He's the brains behind the app. So we're lucky to have him joining us today. And he'll be able to help with questions that I don't have the answers to. So thank you, Jamie. Your host is me, Hannah Shramsky. I'm the marketing specialist at Revize. If you've been to any of our webinars before, hello again. Thank you for coming back to listen to me chat. A little bit about Revize if you're unfamiliar with us. We've been in the industry for over 25 years, and over that time, we've developed a really talented and diverse team. We specialize in beautiful, accessible, and functional web design and web applications specifically for our local government entities. And we're headquartered in Troy, Michigan, but we're proud to serve government agencies all across the country. The key features of the newsletter that we're going to talk about and walk through today are listed here. So it has a drag and drop functionality so that you can easily create beautiful and informational newsletters. You're able to easily upload files of contact lists so that you can save time and energy instead of having to manually upload and type in each email address that you'd like to add to create a mailing list. You can add and remove recipients as needed. People can also easily unsubscribe if they'd like to. Hopefully, they don't. You can make mailing lists for different groups, internal and external. Email reports are also available for tracking purposes. So you can meet your strategic goals and you're able to schedule email blasts for the future, which is a really helpful feature. I believe you can do it about 8 days in advance. For pricing, I just like to get this out of the way because this is always a top question that we get during these app demonstration webinars. Feel free to just contact us. You can book a demo with us, and you can get pricing for the newsletter app. Current clients, you can feel free to contact your account manager for pricing information. I provide my email always as well. It's just hannah@revize.com, and I will get you connected with the right person. And just a reminder, the newsletter app can be purchased by anyone, not just Revize clients. It's a cloud-based app and it can integrate with any website platform. So now that we've gotten through these first slides here, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can exit out of this presentation. And then I'm going to share again. And I'm hopeful that everyone can see my screen and welcome to the Revize Newsletter app. Um, this is what it looks like. It's a very straightforward, easy to use kind of control center of the app. So you can see we've got our sections divided into newsletters, the mailing capabilities, and then the back-end administration functions here, and then a little at a glance overview. Today, I'm going to create a newsletter that's based off of something that happened in my life. I live in Auburn Hills, Michigan, and we recently had a main water line burst, which was kind of a little local disaster. We couldn't drink our water. We had to go to distribution sites to get water. You couldn't really use it because it was a state of emergency. I hope this has never happened to you, but if it has, this is honestly a pretty good use case for when the newsletter is really helpful. You can disseminate information quickly to all of your residents so that they know how to proceed in a local emergency like this. So I'll show you. Here's the little press release about the state of emergency, water main break, and the boil water advisory. Um, and we'll click into our manage newsletters here. You can see I've created one already so that we can see what a finished product would look like. And I'll click into that here. You use the design button to head back into any newsletters that you've already created. And you can see I've got our company logo at the top, alert, water main break and boil water advisory, a picture to showcase what's going on, some important information about what this means for residents, how they have to restrict water usage, and all of the other things that the state of emergency entails. I've got a button that's linked straight to the press release that I already showed you. I created this little infographic in Canva and uploaded it as a file to the newsletter, so it looks really pretty. You can see the do's and don'ts of what to do in this situation for residents or local businesses. And then down here, the city welcomes all questions, comments, and concerns you may have about the waterline situation, and another button where you can contact the city and ask any questions you might have. So this I just thought was an interesting way to show how the newsletter could be really helpful. Um, you might think of a newsletter as something you do for like monthly updates, but it can be really helpful in an unexpected situation like this where a water line bursts and you need to tell residents how to proceed and that their water is actually not safe to drink. So we'll save here and then we will actually create a little newsletter of our own. So you can see all of the ones I've made in the past. There's breaking news, webinar registrations, regular update newsletters, product launches, all of those great uses for the newsletter. I'm going to go ahead and add a newsletter and we'll name it State of Emergency Water Main Burst. And this is an important step here. You'll see this assigned group tab. We have to assign this newsletter to a group so that it shows up in the drop-down menu when you would like to send it. So this is a vital step here. We have to assign it to a group. So I'm going to go ahead and assign it to default group. And this is another great function here. You can choose to make your newsletter into a template so that then you can easily go back and just change, the information within it, but keep that same template that you already designed. Say you do have a monthly update newsletter and you create the template one time and then you can go back in and change the information month to month. But it saves you some time with having to build an entire new newsletter. So we won't make this one a template, but we've named it and we've assigned it to a group. So we're going to go ahead and save it. And then we've got it at the top here. So I want to point out the difference too between the design and the edit buttons. Edit, it might be a little confusing. Edit is just for the name of the newsletter, making it a template and assigning it a group. And this is also where we'll delete newsletters as well. So if we'd like to build our newsletter, we're going to click into design. And you'll see we've got a blank slate here and all the tools that we need are on the left. We've got all of our elements that we need. We have paragraph, divider, and columns. So you can see how easy it is to drag and drop all of these elements. I like to start off with some paragraphs divided up so that I can start working on the meat of my newsletter. And once we click in here, you'll see if you're familiar with how Microsoft Word functions, you'll understand all of these things here. We've got a link button. You're able to insert links. You can insert images, bullet points, numbered lines. You can center your text here, bold, italic, paragraph, font size. You're able to edit in here, undo, redo, copy paste, regular stuff. We can insert images, media, links, buttons, like you saw on the first newsletter I showed you, horizontal lines, and you're able to address folks on your mailing list by their first and last name, which is helpful too, and then all of the regular text formatting things. So, the first thing I like to do is go ahead and insert our company logo. So I'm going to insert an image. This will take you to our file manager inside of the newsletter. So I'm going to click the upload button here, and I don't need to upload our company newsletter because or our company logo because I already have it in my newsletter file manager. But if I did, I would just click the choose file button and it would let me upload from my computer files. Something to note is that the files have to be smaller than 1 MB. So if you're working with a file that's larger than that, but you still want to upload it to your newsletter, I recommend just using a free online file compressor. I use them all the time. And you can compress the files down to that necessary size to upload into the newsletter and then use them like you planned. So I'm going to go ahead and search through my files, find my Revize logo, and click on that. It'll show me a little preview. Oh, that's actually not the one I want. Here we go. This is the one, so I'm going to accept that. Here's your alternative description. So it's basically like the alt tag of your image. If the image doesn't load on someone's email, this will tell them what the image is of. So we're going to say this is the Revize logo. It's a very important step. And we'll save. And then it's popped right up here. It's a little big, so I'm going to use these tabs here just to size it down to my preferred size. And I'm going to go ahead and center it as well. And we're off to a great start here. So now I like to do a little title for my newsletter. So we're going to just say boil water advisory and water main burst. I'm going to go ahead and center this. I also want to bold it and make it a little bigger so that people can read this easily. So now I've got a title for my newsletter. Then I'm going to move down into the next paragraph that I drag and dropped for myself. And I'm going to insert an image that sort of represents what's going on. So I've already uploaded a couple. I've got water dripping from a pipe here, shows the broken pipe situation. And we'll go ahead and accept that, upload that, water dripping from a pipe, and we'll save it. Looking great so far. So then I would want to go ahead and, write the information of the situation that's happening. You could do that in a bulleted list. You could go ahead and do it in a numbered way, or you could just write a paragraph of text like I had on the original newsletter that I showed you. And with this, you have all of the functions you need for formatting with your text. You can change the color, you can change the background, the font, all of that good stuff. And also, I'll show you, we'll insert the image that I had created on Canva. Oh, why am I typing in Canva? So you can see what this would look like if you upload a little infographic into the newsletter. If you want to make it look a little more fun and eye-catching, you can do something like this. So now I also want to show you this columns function. So I'm going to drag and drop my columns into here. This is good for comparison. This is good if you want to have two images next to each other, or if you want to have an image then text. It's a really great feature to be able to add our two columns in. So I'm going to pop some text into both of these columns so that I can edit within them. And let's say I want to add an image into this one. So let's upload my boiling water photo and we'll save it. And then maybe over here, I want to detail what's going on. So don't drink unboiled water and so on and so forth. So you could use this to have two images next to each other, like I said, or text and images. It's just a really helpful, or for comparison's sake, it's really nice. Um, but yeah, this newsletter looks a little funky because I just want to be able to show you guys all of the different capabilities the app has. And lastly, I also want to show, let's pop another paragraph in here because I want to make sure I show you how to make a button. This is a fun part of the newsletter app. So we're going to go ahead to insert. You see you've got image, media, link, and button like we went through earlier. Let's click on button. And we get to design the button properties, which is fun. And this is something that you can play around with. Let's do our left and right margin as 6, top margin, and bottom margin as 2, border width as 3, and let's make it a fun color. Let's do green for the border color. And then we'll save that, and you can see we have a nice little button there. I'm going to go ahead and center it, and I'm going to make this maybe a contact us button. And I've got the contact Revize page over here, so you can go ahead and copy whatever link you'd like to add in here, highlight the button, insert a link, paste that in. And I like here, it's important to note too, we've got a decision about where you want the link to open to. Do you want it to open in the current window of the newsletter, or do you want it to open in a new window? I like to do new window, save that, and then we've got a functional button. So I've pretty much shown you all of the capabilities within the building and designing of the newsletter. You've got this preview function here where you can see what you've created. This isn't very uh, gorgeous yet, but you can see you've got your button here, and we'll go ahead and save what we've created. Again, this is the one we're actually going to be using. I'll send this one out, but just wanted to go through and show you all of your abilities on here. So we've managed newsletters. We've built one, we've designed one. I've shown you how you can make it a template as well. Here I've got some templates that were designed previously that you can use for like the monthly update newsletters, like I said, or whatever purpose you may need it for. You've got templates. Then let's talk about mailing. So here we've got our mailing lists. We'll click into this. Now, with mailing lists, it's really easy to just add a new one here. You can see I've got a lot happening here. And when we add a mailing list, let's name it Auburn Hills residents because that's who I'm going to want to send my water main burst state of emergency newsletter to. We're going to assign it to a group like we always do, and then I'll go ahead and manage emails. So it's this easy to subscribe an email. I'm going to subscribe myself, hannah@revize.com, add email, and then boom, here I am. I'm subscribed. I can go ahead and edit and add my name, Hannah Shramsky, so that the newsletter can properly address me. I'll go ahead and save the list. And again, I want everyone to notice within this editing mailing list, we've got an import list button. Excuse me. So this is the button where you can import CSV files of contact lists. So it saves you time of going through and adding and creating different mailing lists manually and typing every different name in. You're able to import CSV files that you have, and it'll instantly create mailing lists for you. So I'm going to go ahead and save this list, and then we've got it right here. It should be Auburn Hills residents. Great. So we'll head back to our dashboard. Now we've got manage subscription forms. So this is what residents see when they're going to sign up for the newsletter. It has a listing of different pages that they can subscribe to, and I want to show you an example of a client with the subscription forms. So here we have the San Carlos, California website. This is a beautiful Revize website. I'm going to scroll down through the city website until I see sign up for e-news. So I'm going to go ahead and join. And now you can see an example of what this subscription form might look like. I can type in my email here and I can choose whatever mailing lists I would like to opt into. Maybe I want to opt into childcare. housing and public notices, kind of a random collection. But say that's what I'm interested in. I'll type in my email address up here and I'll subscribe. So this is just a little example of what it looks like in real life. Excuse me. We'll head back to our newsletter app. We'll click into the subscription forms. You can just click add form here, and it's that easy to go ahead and add that. Send emails. This is where you'll disseminate all of your newsletters. So I'm just going to click select newsletter, my state of emergency water main break one. I'm going to scroll down to Auburn Hills residents, just me, apparently. And I'll select my sender email. I always use my info@news one, so I'll click onto that. And here's your section to schedule it for advance. So if I click onto here, you'll see I've got about 8 days where I could schedule this in advance, which might be really nice. Maybe you're going on vacation and you need to schedule something for when you're away. Or maybe you want to schedule a newsletter to send really early in the morning and you're not going to be awake yet. I use this all the time. It's a super helpful feature and it's really easy to just click and schedule for whatever exact time for your newsletter to send. So I actually will not be scheduling it for advance. So let's send this to myself, my Auburn Hills residents, and you'll see we've got this preview button as well. So you can double check, triple check what this newsletter is about to look like before we send it. And we'll go ahead and send. Oh, it was for the future. Okay, let's try that again. I don't know why. Okay, we'll send that for now to Auburn Hills residents. Okay, great. Go ahead and send that off. Now we'll head into scheduled emails. So this is where you can see previous email blasts that you sent out and scheduled. You can see their status. When it hasn't been completed yet, it'll say running. You can see when it was scheduled for, what time, how many recipients were there. So this is, and also you can send emails from here as well and schedule them for the future. Email reports. So in here, for each of your email blasts, you can see what emails have been sent, opened, and bounced. So let's actually click into one of these, one of my registration email blasts. We can see this was sent, this one was opened. Thankfully, none of them were bounced, but if any of them did bounce, it would show here on the status. And the great thing is too, we can also export a CSV file of the email report, which is great for, tracking open rates, cleaning up your records with the information of, whose email addresses are bouncing your newsletter. So this is a great feature to help you meet your strategic goals. And then we've got bounce list at the bottom here. This just shows all of the email addresses that are bouncing your newsletters so that you can go ahead and edit that as well. All right, now we're going to head on over to the administration box. Manage users. If we click into this, you'll see we can just manage who is a user on the newsletter app. It's really easy to add one and assign them to their group and give them their role. Then manage groups. So these are most commonly used for departments when a client has a large number of editors on the newsletter. So the groups kind of subdivide what is editable and visible to a subset of newsletter editors within a client. And it's really easy to just go ahead and add different groups. You can name them and then assign users within each group. Managing sender emails, you can add more sender emails. You saw on my drop down when we were sending an email that I had a couple. This is the one we normally use. File manager. So here you could upload files that you'd like to use in your newsletters, or you could use this button as like cleaning up what's in your file manager. I've got a lot going on in here. I could probably stand to go through and delete some of the things that I have uploaded to the newsletter file manager, but it's nice to be able to see what's I have uploaded already. And then analytics on here, you can just track subscription rates and subscribers to each of your mailing lists using these snapshots of data in this section. which is really nice. And then down here at a glance, you'll see your monthly allowance of newsletters that you can send. Generally, for our clients, it's 10,000 emails a month. I have like a supercharged newsletter app because I have 200,000 that I can send a month. But even though it's usually 10,000, it can be more. It just depends on your sales agreement. You can also see the newsletters that you recently sent out. If you have one scheduled, it'll show up down here too, which is really great. So that pretty much covers all of the newsletter app for now. I want to hop on over to my email so you can see. Oh, let me sign in here because I did want to show you what the newsletter looked like. Okay, I sent it to myself earlier, so we can. I don't know why it's not letting me sign in. Weird. Well, I was going to show you the newsletter, but it won't let me sign into my email, so we'll chalk that up to a technical difficulty, no problem. But I am going to stop sharing my screen now. And I'm going to invite you guys to ask any questions you might have. If there was anything I didn't hit on during the demonstration there, I'll just invite everyone to drop any questions you may have in the chat, and me and Jamie will address those. So I'm gonna peek at what we've got going here. Okay. Jenny wonders, are the email blasts available for WebGen? I think yes. Anyone who WebGen clients can definitely purchase the newsletter app. Jamie, I think that would be correct, right?
Yeah. It's not restricted to our clients, and it's not really doesn't have any restriction. It could be bought as a standalone, it could be bought with WebGens, it could be bought with their customs. Anything's good.
Perfect. Keith is wondering, can you send the newsletter to multiple mailing lists at the same time, or can you only select one mailing group per newsletter? I believe you can if you just press shift, you can select multiple mailing lists at the same time.
Yep.
Okay. Carol is wondering, how is the e-subscribe for the newsletter different from the e-subscribe on a revised designed municipal website? I don't know the answer to that one.
E-Notify is subscribing to pages that have changed on the revised websites themselves. So when you make content updates on the website, residents can get notified of those changes to those pages. But the newsletter is not tied to the website, so you can send out emails, newsletters for any such event, and it's not tied to your Revize website at all.
Okay, let me see. Are there ADA web checks available for the newsletter? I'm not sure about that one.
So the that's going to be like the alt tags on the images. Um, the colors are going to be up to you. The contrast. Um, I would just advise sticking to mostly black and white or, light and dark colors in general, um, regardless of ADA. But you can use a screen reader or any other ADA tool that you would be using to check. But at the moment, there are no built-in tools to the newsletter to call out any problems like that.
Okay. Jim is wondering, are there modules for RSV or other event elements that can be included? All of I showcase basically everything that there is available on the website. So there aren't specific event or RSV modules, but you could use the button function to, create a link to an RSVP on a different web page or something like that. Like you could definitely use it for that function if you'd like. It just might take a little creativity. Um, Travis is wondering, can documents be attached to newsletters and clicks tracked? So yes, you can attach files to the newsletter and you can track which newsletters have been opened by which user, if that's helpful. Crystal is wondering if I import a list of email addresses from Constant Contact and those people have opted into Constant Contact but not to Revize, will the emails be deliverable from Revize? Or does each person need to opt in to receive Revize email newsletters? I believe if you import the CSV file of email addresses to your mailing list and then you send them an email from the revised newsletter, they will receive it unless it gets bounced. Or maybe it'll go into their spam or whatever other inbox. But if you add their email address to the mailing list, whether that's through import or manually typing it in, and then you send them a revised newsletter to that list, they will get it. They should get it. Excuse me. Roger's wondering, would subsites have a separate newsletter account? For example, the city has a newsletter account and the public library has its own account. I believe you could choose, or Jamie, I don't know if you can speak to that one.
Um, that's going to depend on their sales agreement, I think, because if they share one, they're going to be sharing their allowance, their email allowance. So, I guess that's going to be up to you in the city, and then you and Revise. So they can be
Right.
shared. That's what the groups are for. Otherwise, they can be separated. Just keep things simpler on your end.
Yeah. So basically, Roger, you could do that with your subsites. You could use different groups within the newsletter, or you could have separate apps for the different sites if you would like. It just completely depends. And feel free to reach out to us too if you'd like to see those different options specifically for your site and subsites. Um, can you provide an actual newsletter sample that's currently published by another municipality? Just want to see what one might look like other than the one you just demonstrated for us. I don't have one currently, and I'm actually not subscribed to any of our clients' newsletters, so I couldn't pull one up. But actually, I believe I was able to log into my account here. So I know this is like directly going against what you just asked for, but here you can see the one that I made here in my email. So you've got the link button here, down here the contact us, and then here is where recipients are able to unsubscribe as well. It's very easy. So again, this is not an actual municipal newsletter. This is the one that I had made before for the example, but at least I can show you that. Um, will the translation feature be available? Jamie, do you know what the translation features are on the newsletter?
Um, No, yes, no. It depends on your email client. Mind you, these are all going to be emails, so there's a lot that has to do with what your email client's going to support, and not so much what the newsletter can offer. We're just going to put text and images on the screen, and then anything beyond that is, up to your client.
Got it. Carol says, is there a limit to the number of subscribers? Jamie, do you know that? I'm not sure if there's a limit to the number of subscribers.
Not necessarily. After a couple thousand, you're gonna start probably want to subdividing it into further lists. That's probably a good indication that, you know, maybe not all those people are going to be on the same list. They're going to want maybe different
Yeah.
information. But theoretically, no, there's no.
I haven't ran into that before, and we have some pretty large mailing lists. So, um, Margaret is wondering when you upload a list of contacts, does Revise weed out the duplicate email addresses? Jamie, do you know that one?
Yes.
It does. Okay, great. Christina wondering how our email allowance is counted. It just depends on your sales agreement. So if you would want more than 10,000, that could be something that could be worked out. Um, and or I guess if you were asking like how they decide, I guess I don't maybe understand your question. Every single email that's sent is counts towards your email allowance, if that makes any sense. Is wondering, can you send text newsletter or just email? I believe just email, but Jamie, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong.
Just email this time.
Just email. Sue is wondering, can you track if recipients clicked links within the newsletter? That's a great question. I don't believe so, but again, Jamie, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
No.
Okay. Are newsletter editors notified of bounced emails? You're able to check them. I don't believe you're notified, but you're able to go into that bounce list tab at any time and check and see whose addresses are bouncing your newsletter, or check the email reports and see the status of each of the emails that were sent out to everybody on the mailing list. So you can go through and check. Um, Also, can you have multiple newsletters operate via the Revize Newsletter app? Yes, you can. Okay, that is all that I see in the chat, but now I'm going to go over to the Q&A and see if there's anything in here. What are the ADA compliance features with images or infographics in this platform? I believe it's just important that you label the alt tag, the image description, but if there's anything else that I'm missing, Jamie, feel free to let me know.
No, that's going to be your best friend for that. Just
Yeah.
providing good alt tags is going to solve the images and infograph issue.
And definitely, it's take some trial and error too when you're first creating these newsletters. Have a mailing group that's just to yourself so that you can send yourself the newsletter that you're working on to sort of make tweaks as needed. There might be contrast issues that you don't even really notice when you're in the app, and maybe you're using all sorts of fun colors and background colors, and it looks super cool in the app. But then when you send it to yourself, you might see that there's an ADA issue and an accessibility issue because you maybe aren't able to read that fun font in that green color with the red background, whatever it is. It's always good to just do some trial and error, send the newsletter to yourself before you send it out to the whole mailing list, and make sure everything looks good based on your knowledge of the ADA compliance regulations. Sydney's wondering, is this included in the regular version of Revise or is this an add-on? This is an add-on. So this is an app that can be purchased by anyone, not just Revise clients. Anyone can use this newsletter app. And again, for pricing, I mentioned this in the beginning, but feel free to just reach out to us. Current clients, like I said, you can reach out to your account manager if you're familiar with them. You can contact us on our website, or you can reach out to me if you want, hannah@revize.com. Um, does the monthly allowance count each recipient as a sent newsletter? I believe so, but Jamie, feel free to correct me.
Um, yes.
Okay.
And that doesn't include emails that get bounced. Those are not counted against you.
Okay, I didn't actually know that. Okay, Kevin, I see that you were a little late, and you have some questions about bounce messages and unsubscribe requests and the email reports. We went through all of that just a little bit earlier in the demonstration, so I can send you a link of the webinar when it goes live. I'm uploading the recording of today's session on our website, so you can go back through and see what we touched on before. Um, is the newsletter compatible with the website and operational through the website?
No, it's going to be a standalone URL. It's not integrated with the website.
Margaret, this is a good question. Is there a preview feature where you can see what the newsletter will look like on a mobile device? Not to my knowledge, the preview that you see is just, well, I guess technically because it's responsive. So like if I open the Waterline Burst email newsletter on my phone, it looks about the same as it does on my computer. The images are responsive and the text is responsive to your phone, like to the email app on your phone. So it should look just about like that. Okay. Crystal, I see you have a question about your website and sales agreement specifically. Feel free to reach out to us about it and we can, hammer out the details with your specific sales agreement, and see if it's a part of yours already or figure that out for you. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Um, Pardon me. I think this is most of the questions. It looks like it's slowing down here, and our timer is running down to the last couple minutes. Oh, we've got another question. Are we able to upload the newsletter to our website as a document or link for customers to look back at previous newsletters? Uh,
That's coming. That is
oh,
on the to-do list. Very requested feature.
okay, wonderful. Good question, Mandy. It's on the way. All right. Feel free to drop any last questions in the chat here or in the Q&A section. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I hope I didn't bore everyone with the water line burst state of emergency situation. Uh, it was quite the thing in my little town of Auburn Hills. If you're in Southeast Michigan, maybe you heard about it, but where can we access the recording on the Revize website? So you'll just go to revize.com. And on the home page, you'll see all of the tabs at the top, and one of them is webinars. So you'll just click on the webinars tab, and I should have it uploaded at some point tomorrow. And you'll see it'll be the first one on the list. And you'll see all of the other great ones we've recently done. We've had some new accessibility apps come out, RZ Clear Docs, which helps with PDF accessibility, and RZ Assist, which is our accessibility widget and ADA scan tool. So those are newer ones that you could check out as well if you weren't able to join us for those. Um, and it looks like that's about it for now. I want to say thank you everyone for joining me today, and Jamie. Thank you so much, Jamie, for joining us. Um, he's the wizard behind the newsletter app. So thank you so much, Jamie. And like I said, the recording will be live on the Revize website sometime tomorrow, so you'll be able to check it out. If you're interested in booking a demo or talking about getting this newsletter app for your website specifically, feel free to reach out to us. And I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday weekend and enjoys that extra day off with family and friends. Hopefully, it's going to be sunny where you're at. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And we'll see you at the next one. Bye bye.